Imagine spending $70,000 on a car that promises silence, perfection, and Japanese reliability. The kind of luxury that whispers success every time you start the engine. But fast forward a few years, that same luxury sedan, once a proud driveway centerpiece, is now sitting on Craigslist for $7,000. Not because it's old, not because it's wrecked, but because it's become a money pit. This is the shocking story of the $70,000 Lexus that turned into a $7,000 problem child, a cautionary tale of what happens when high-tech luxury meets real-world ownership. Today, we'll peel back the leather seats, the hybrid secrets, and the costly surprises behind one of Lexus's most misunderstood cars. And why not everything expensive stays valuable? Stay till the end, because what we uncover might change how you think about buying luxury used cars forever. The promise of perfection. How Lexus won our trust. Lexus has long been the symbol of quiet reliability, a brand that outshined even Mercedes and BMW when it came to dependability. Their philosophy was simple: take Japanese engineering, wrap it in luxury, and sell peace of mind. When the Lexus GS450H and later models like the LS600HL hit the market, they were celebrated as engineering marvels. Hybrid systems, adaptive suspensions, and silent electric glide drives made them feel like something from the future. The promise was performance with conscience. The thrill of a V8 with the fuel economy of a four-cylinder. People believed they were buying perfection itself. Lexus commercials didn't shout. They whispered elegance, refinement, and immortality. It was the dream of having luxury without the headaches. But what happens when that dream starts to crack? When the future tech that once made headlines begins to fail in the real world? The engineering masterpiece, or a ticking time bomb? On paper, the Lexus hybrid sedans were masterpieces. The GS450H, for instance, used a 3.5-liter V6 mated to an electric motor producing over 340 horsepower. It could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds, faster than most German rivals, and yet claimed nearly 30 miles per gallon. The secret was the hybrid synergy drive, a complex orchestra of batteries, motors, and planetary gear sets. It was smooth, efficient, and seamless when new. But here's the catch. This system wasn't designed for cheap ownership. Each component worked in delicate harmony, but when one failed, the repair costs skyrocketed. A failing hybrid battery could easily set you back $4,000 to $6,000. The electronic CVT transmission? $8,000 or more. Even basic repairs required specialized knowledge. And Lexus dealerships charged a premium for that. So when these cars aged, they didn't age gracefully. They aged expensively. When luxury becomes a liability, the real story begins a few years down the line. When depreciation hits like a wrecking ball, the $70,000 Lexus, once a symbol of sophistication, suddenly finds itself worth less than $15,000. Why? Because luxury cars don't just lose value, they lose confidence. Buyers start to realize that behind the badge and plush interiors lies a complicated network of parts that can bankrupt you if they fail. Owners began reporting issues: battery modules degrading, suspension systems leaking, infotainment screens flickering. Even minor issues meant four-figure repair bills. And because hybrid-specific parts were rare, independent mechanics avoided them like the plague. So, while a Corolla's repair might cost a few $100s, the same fix on a Lexus hybrid could cost thousands. Suddenly, that bargain-used Lexus didn't feel like a bargain anymore. The battery betrayal. A silent killer. The heart of any hybrid is its battery pack, the silent powerhouse that stores energy for electric propulsion. But even the best batteries don't last forever. In the GS450H and LS600HL, battery degradation often began after 8 to 10 years. Some owners started seeing warning lights. Check hybrid system. The cost to replace? Around $5,000 to $7,000, depending on where you lived. Some owners tried to refurbish their packs by replacing individual cells, but results were mixed. Others discovered that Lexus dealerships wouldn't even attempt repairs. They'd only install a brand new pack. That was the moment many owners realized the truth. Once that battery goes, so does the value of your car. No one wants to buy a used hybrid with a potential $7,000 repair looming over it. And thus, the luxury dream car started its slow descent toward the problem child label. Owners share their pain. Real stories from the road. On forums like Club Lexus and Reddit, the stories pour in. One owner writes, "I bought a 2008 LS600HL with 90,000 miles for $12,000. Within 2 years, I spent $12,000, $9,800 in repairs. It's the most beautiful, worst decision I've ever made." Another says, "The hybrid system failed out of nowhere. Lexus quoted me $14,000 to fix it. That's literally more than the car's value." Some tried to sell, but buyers offered less than $5,000. Not because the car looked bad, but because of fear. Fear of what might break next. It's tragic. These cars were built with perfection in mind. But once the warranty ended, perfection became a burden. What went wrong, and why Lexus won't talk about it? Lexus rarely addresses these issues publicly. After all, their reputation is built on silence and serenity. But insiders admit the problem quietly. These cars were overbuilt. They were designed for a time when Lexus wanted to outshine Mercedes, at any cost. Engineers weren't thinking about 10-year ownership. They were thinking about technological bragging rights. The hybrid LS and GS were experimental platforms disguised as production cars. They pushed the boundaries of what was possible, but not necessarily sustainable. It wasn't that Lexus failed. They succeeded too well. They made cars so advanced that even Lexus mechanics struggle to maintain them today. Time and technology. The double-edged sword technology ages faster than metal. And when it does, luxury turns fragile. The infotainment systems that once dazzled owners now look dated and glitchy. The analog clocks that screamed elegance now just remind people of old age. Even replacement parts become scarce as suppliers stop producing components. Meanwhile, the mechanical systems, still capable of running for decades, are held hostage by outdated software and failing electronics. Time doesn't just depreciate these cars financially, it erodes their functionality. And as every warning light becomes a $1,000 gamble, owners start letting go. The reality check. Why cheap luxury is a trap. It's easy to see a $7,000 Lexus and think, "What a deal!" But here's the truth. If something goes wrong, that car can eat through its purchase price in a single repair. Luxury cars are engineered with precision, not affordability. Every system is optimized for comfort and silence, not simplicity. That means when it breaks, you can't just patch it with generic parts. Cheap luxury often ends up costing more than modest practicality. The used market hides these stories behind shiny chrome and leather seats, but anyone who's owned one knows the real cost begins after you buy it. A $7,000 Lexus is not a car. It's a gamble. The end of an era. When legends fade today, many of these once glorious sedans sit quietly in driveways, gathering dust. Some become parts donors, others get exported to countries where mechanics still tinker with them for fun. They were cars that tried to bridge two worlds, performance and sustainability, but ended up crushed by their own ambition. Still, you can't help but admire them. The craftsmanship, the design, the feeling they gave you when they were new, all unmatched. But like all legends, their time came and went too fast. They remind us that even perfection has a price. The $7,000 warning. So next time you scroll through used car listings and see a Lexus LS 600HL or GS 450H for the price of a beat-up Civic, remember this story. Remember that not all that glitters is gold. That $7,000 dream might just be a $7,000 nightmare waiting to happen. Because in the end, luxury isn't about what you pay at the start. It's about what you keep paying to keep it alive. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden side of luxury cars, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who's ever dreamed of owning a cheap luxury ride. And tell us in the comments, would you take the risk on a $7,000 Lexus if it meant driving something that once ruled the roads? Because sometimes, the real price of luxury only reveals itself after you've bought it.